Welcome back to another Mother and Son postgame show for the New York Giants. Family bonding. We are here, like we said we would be, to discuss some New York Giants practice updates, unfortunately injury updates, and we'll see what that means for the future of the New York Giants team and the 53-man roster moving forward. There's some speculation about injuries with wide receivers and what's going to the wide receiver core is going to look like. It's going to be a little interesting, just a little bit. So let's start by first, always make sure you like and subscribe. It's very important you do that. Help us reach our goal. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. Come on, help us out, guys. Help the family grow. We will only benefit from your support. And it's free. So why not? Hit us with that subscribe. Make sure you always drop a comment. Share this video with someone, whether it's an Eagles fan, Cowboys fan, Giants fan, not that team, Washington football team, whatever their name is. I love making jokes on that team. So, but anyway, let's start off by talking about the wide receiving core because there are some injuries there that we did not cover last week. Let's start with the most serious one, but also the most, this is going to sound disrespectful, most insignificant one.
That's pretty disrespectful. It is, but
it
I'll
is,
give you
but
some leeway for that. I'll give you some leeway for that one.
Respectfully, of course. Bryce Ford Wheaton, it's very unfortunate this had to happen. He tore his Achilles, I believe let me see what the date says, July 28th. That's the other day. He tore his Achilles tendon during practice. So, yes, he is done for the rest of the season. I don't recall him getting any reps on the receiving core last season, but I'm sure he maybe did some special teams or something. But he would have just been depth. He would have been depth. That's all it would have been. So we lost some depth there. You've also got, this is the first concern, Wan'Dale Robinson. He actually, according to this report, it says Robinson leg returned to practice in limited capacity on Tuesday. So he returned with limited capacity. There hasn't been an update since then, which it's safe to say maybe he did not practice today. But if he's nursing an injury, this is not the first time Wan'Dale Robinson's had an injury. He had a couple injuries last season, and his rookie season, he had injuries that kept him off the field. So it's not looking good in that aspect because it's just starting to give me vibes of, I hate to say this, Sterling Shepard 2.0 with how many injuries he's having because because his level of potential is so high, but these injuries are keeping him off the field. And I would really hate for Wan'Dale Robinson to have another season where it's cut short to injuries, or at the very least, he starts off strong, he misses a couple of weeks to injuries, he comes back and then injures himself again just to not even finish the season. Because that's what his career has been. He hasn't been able to finish a full season due to injuries. So him having another injury after making a great catch a connection between him and Russell Wilson just this week that I just talked about last week, actually. He did it again this week. And unfortunately, after that, he was injured. And now we're looking at a situation where you've just got Malik Nabers. Just kidding. Malik Nabers has a shoulder injury that he's trying to work through right now. He did practice today. According to Brian Daboll, he did practice today. But they quote, a plan that they feel will work for him. I don't know what that means.
It's very nebulous.
Yeah, it's cryptic as always. Brian Daboll is being very careful of what he's saying. He doesn't want people to understand what the true situation is. As fans, I think we should know what's going on with our now best player on the team in terms of offensive prowess and skills and what he brings to the table. Malik Nabers, we need to know what's going on with him. Whatever this plan is, can we at least know a little bit about it? Because last time I checked, you guys with your planning haven't really been successful with them. Just saying, if we're going to talk about planning here. So I'm a little concerned with that. That's basically between Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Nabers, both of them being banged up before the season even starts. It's not what you want to hear.
No,
that is what our bread and butter right there. This season for Russell Wilson, our bread and butter for offensive success in terms of the wide receiving core is if Malik Nabers and Wan'Dale Robinson are on the field at the same time, period. If that doesn't happen, you're not going to see that much of an easier time for Russell Wilson to adjust to this system. Not that there's that much to adjust to. We do follow a West Coast offense that was kind of similar to what the Seahawks did. But the point is, if Russell Wilson doesn't have his full wide receiving core and he's got to work with the backups and everything, now you don't have the team meshing together and actually getting to get chemistry together in the early stages of the football season, which is so important, especially with this tough schedule that we have this year. We're going to be put through the gauntlet of ass kickings for the first couple of weeks. So this needs to be squared away. Our guys need to stay on the field and stay healthy. And it doesn't even just stop at the wide receiving core. It goes all the way to the defensive side of the ball. I'm seeing we've got Dexter Lawrence. You've got Anthony Johnson Jr., which, by the way, they did not specify Anthony Johnson Jr.'s injury. They just said he's out. You got Dexter Lawrence. They don't even specify what it is. They just said he's questionable. You want to know what the statement says? Here's what it says. Dexter, this is from ESPN, by the way, from ESPN.com. You can look this up yourself, Giants fans. It says, Dexter Lawrence, questionable status. The Giants added $3 million in incentives to Lawrence's elbow current contract. So that means he probably needs to get surgery on his elbow that he dislocated last season. Because I believe he dislocated his left elbow last season, and there seems to still be some issues there. And that's our best player on defense. So he needs to get that squared away. And the fact that he has a $3 million incentive means the Giants are looking extra desperate to make sure that he comes back healthy.
Extra desperate.
Because if he doesn't come back healthy, that front four and front seven is compromised. And we're in trouble. More trouble than we already would have been. So, I'm going to take a sip of water. Give me 1 second because I'm cooking right now. Thank you. The point is, guys, we've got very key players. I didn't even talk about Andrew Thomas on the offensive line. It says he may come back by the beginning of the regular season. I'm not even going to get into an Andrew Thomas tangent because everybody who's been following us knows how I feel about Andrew Thomas. I do not like him as a player. I always thought he was an inconsistent bum. And for right now, he is proving me right once again by not being available. We haven't even gotten through to the contact part of camp yet. We haven't even gotten there. And they're already saying that he may be back by the regular season. Not preseason, regular season.
Regular season.
Not having Andrew Thomas on the field to work with Russell Wilson or even Jameis or quite frankly Jaxson Dart, anyone really, not having him there, not having Malik Nabers healthy, not having Wan'Dale Robinson healthy, not having Dexter Lawrence healthy. These are too many concerns that I have right now. And it makes me uncomfortable because this is supposed to be, as my mom quoted, the last season.
Last chance season.
The last chance season. Sorry for butchering it. The last chance season. This is the last chance for Brian Daboll as head coach. I 100% think that Joe Shane is going to be on the chopping block, especially if this does not work. It doesn't even need to work to the point that we get a championship. We don't even need to make the playoffs. We just need to be at most close to 500. If we can't even do that, if we can't keep people on the field healthy, and that's another thing. Why is it that every offseason, when we start camp and all this stuff starts happening, it's never updates about players getting better. It's always injury report, injury report, injury report. What's going on with the training team?
We do that well. We do the whole injury thing, expertly.
It's the field, I think. I don't think we're supposed to be using turf. I think we need to use a real grass field.
Yeah, the turf monster gets us every time, right?
Well, you can't practice on the turf field. It's dangerous. Most of our injuries in the past 8 years were contactless, and they were torn ACLs and stuff like that.
We've had a lot of, and some of our best players.
Saquon had injuries. Saquon tore his ACL for us. He didn't do that with the Eagles.
Yeah.
But the list goes on for injuries on the Giants field.
Yeah, our most talented players have been the victim of the turf monster.
And if we're practicing on the turf field, that would explain why the injuries are happening in camp in preseason. Because let's just stop being cheap. Why can't we just get a grass field and just have them? I promise the injuries would go down. You'd see sales goes up because more star players would be on the field. It's no different from the NBA players that decide to take breaks in between games and then fans get mad so they sell their tickets and then they don't show up because the players they want to see ain't playing. What's different about us having to watch backups and people coming off the couch to play because we got people that get hurt week in and week out that y'all pay millions of dollars to stay on the field? So we need to figure that out. The injuries are really starting to piss me off.
Figure it out. Yeah, the injuries, the fact that they show up for the Giants especially because I end up watching. NFL Network does they're literally camped out at camp, right?
Yeah.
All over the country, all day long. There's different sideline reporters, people on the and the in the blazing heat. The lucky ones are the ones that have the indoor fields. Uh, but they're out there sharing all the updates, and there, like the Sun said, there's almost never anything positive related to the Giants other that comes out of these reports. It's just an update on an injury. That's it. Yes, other teams get injured. This is true. But this is becoming it's a long-standing repetitive story of injuries, right? And the fact that we started off the week, as the Sun mentioned, with Malik Nabers getting hurt. And if you saw our stream last weekend, you would have seen that, we talked about the fact that he has that lingering toe injury, and that we suspect that he might be conspiring with his agents and to kind of figure out a way to not play the whole season. Maybe just play enough to get some stats during some winning games, because that's always a good thing. He had a bunch of great career stats for his first
Yes.
season on a losing team,
Mhm.
that barely won a few games. But he needs to get some stats on some winning games, and games where he actually made a difference, right? Because
Right.
that's good for him for his future. And after he does, if he's able to accomplish that, we suspect that the looming surgery he alluded to last week might happen. He might come out and say, "Oh, mid-season. Oh, turns out I need to go get that surgery,"
Right.
so that he can be healed and ready to go and training, and see if he has more opportunities next season. So I don't
Mhm.
know, but it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy to hear about all these injuries, and not to hear exciting things coming out of camp. I mean, if you it depends on who you look to for news about New York Giants training camp, whether or not there's some good highlights or not. But the major sports media that apparently haven't seen anything worthy of really going crazy about. But we did hear something from Brian Daboll and the who's going to be under center this who's starting under center this season. Who was that?
Russell Wilson. He officially announced it and confirmed it. And I think he was observing what the Steelers did with that situation where they were like, oh, we don't know. It could be Justin Fields. It could be Russell Wilson. It could be Trubisky, whoever the frig it was, whoever the third option was. But the point was when the Steelers brought Russell Wilson in there, they didn't give him this sort of holy grail treatment like, oh, yes, you are now the franchise quarterback of the Steelers.
Yeah,
It,
they didn't
it, it
do
was more
that.
so, who the heck are you? Get over here and
Right,
practice like everyone else.
right,
What I think Brian Daboll is doing here, and for two sides of things, it's not just for Russell Wilson. It's also for the fans, and I think it's also for Malik Nabers because that's our best player on offense. And I got this from a professional sportscaster on ESPN. He pointed this out himself as a former wide receiver. He said, as an NFL receiver, if I know that I'm the best player on my team, I need to know who's throwing me the football. Because if I don't know who's throwing me the football, I can't get my mindset right and I can't play my game. Because I'm going to be thinking in the back of my head, is it going to be this guy? Is it going to be that guy? How do they throw the ball? Oh, do they like to throw it high? Do they throw it low? Does he throw it fast? Does he throw it? Like all these things matter. So
right.
Brian Daboll announcing that was affirmation on three accounts. Russell Wilson, Malik Nabers, and the fan base. Because I'm sure the fan base had a lot to do with this decision as well, because I've been looking at the comment sections of all these videos that Russell Wilson does his interviews on, and you got people, Giants fans, please don't be delusional. Please, I'm going to say this right now. This is a PSA. I'm tired of seeing people in the comment sections writing, Russell Wilson, get that chip. No,
What
stop.
chip?
Championship?
What
Last time I
chip?
checked, this ain't the
Bag
Dallas
of chips.
Cowboys. Last time
Bag
I
of
checked,
chips.
a bag of chips, some Lay's. But last time I checked, this is not the Dallas Cowboys. We will not push that narrative that Russell Wilson is going to get us a Super Bowl ring. Don't do that.
Don't play yourself
Don't
away.
do that. This will be the first time in a while that the Sun has made a take that's not a hot take. The Giants are not getting the Super Bowl championship this year with Russell
No.
Wilson. I'm known for making a lot of hot takes. This is not a hot take. This is so please, I don't want people talking about, oh, the Giants are going to the Super Bowl. Stop trying to push this narrative. Don't let other teams push that narrative. Our goal is to just play better without Daniel Jones. That's it.
Yeah,
I
pretty
just want to
much.
play better with. I just want to watch decent football. It doesn't even have
Let's
to be
win
great.
half of the season games.
Pretty much. I just need to see some decent football. I need to see growth. I want to see us not be last in the division. That's not so hard to ask for. It's
No,
hard to ask for a Super Bowl championship though. So stop trying to do this. Don't push this narrative because social media has power now. Don't push this narrative that it's a bust if we don't make it to the playoffs this season with Russell Wilson. I don't think we were ever doing that.
I don't think
And
that
looking at
was
that
happening.
schedule, we're lucky if we even get 7 wins.
Yeah, but that
Six,
would it's
realistically.
six would be exciting actually after last season. I think it would be. Yeah, but
Anything is better than that. 100th season.
our 100th anniversary season of the New York Football Giants.
I don't know about
So
y'all. That was season
embarrassing.
99 and a half.
So embarrassed. Too bad they didn't. You know what? They should have waited. They should have waited till mid-season to do some sort of commemoration. But they started the season with the 100 and on in the end zone and talking about it. They really should have waited to see how well they did because
And they should have never mentioned it.
yeah.
If
And because they couldn't if they had waited, they may have decided to just skip it and just kind of maybe celebrate it some way this year, maybe even in the off season or something. It was a waste of a milestone.
that's the most embarrassing sports celebration in sports
Oh my,
history,
oh, it was so bad. It was so
with
bad.
how it turned out, that is the most deplorable 100th year season of any sports franchise in sports history. There's no
Yeah.
way, no way, and
If,
any team will ever have that happen to them as bad as it was for us.
who
And have your former
knows?
franchise player win a ring for your rival? No, that'll never happen again in sports. Never. You can't even make a better movie script. That'll never happen again.
Who
No,
knows how much money the team lost in commemorative memorabilia
millions.
for the 100th year? Like, they had some sort of merch that they came up with for the 100th year. No one bought that crap.
Like The Rock said, for the millions and millions. That's how much they lost. They lost millions and millions. And you know what? It was deserved. They deserve to lose every single penny of marketing money they could have gotten from anything with the 100th season, from anything they would have gotten from Saquon Barkley paraphernalia with the 100th season stuff on it, even if we had a losing season. And you're telling me nobody wouldn't have wanted a Saquon Barkley jersey with the special 100th season edition on it?
Oh yeah,
I I would have bought
yeah,
it. I would have wasted my
yeah,
money on it. I would have bought it.
yeah, some sort of commemorative. And yeah, you know what? Other
Anything.
teams that come out with the special edition, they're usually like random color special
Yep.
edition, like off the brand palette,
Ain't nobody
something
buying that from the
different.
Giants.
No, nobody's doing
Nope. They lost
that.
a lot of money. They lost more money than they could have spent on Saquon. How about that?
Yeah, yeah,
If you really want to add insult to injury. So, in my opinion, it was deserved. Everything that
yeah.
happened to us last season was deserved, including the Eagles winning the championship. It all was deserved to show all of the horrible decisions that were made in that office behind our
Over the
backs
years,
over the
behind our backs and
years.
over the years,
But the
but
last
most
season,
last
that's the
year,
worst. That's the worst one. That's the nothing. Everything that Dave Gettleman did, if I had to choose between forgiving that or forgiving what Joe Shane did with his one decision for Saquon, I'm choosing everything that Dave Gettleman did over the one thing that Joe Shane did. That one thing Joe Shane did
wow, that's
is
deep.
astronomically worse than anything Dave Gettleman ever did. Anything. I don't care what you say. You get rid of the best running back in the NFL, the most polarizing player in the NFL. He's on the friggin' Madden cover.
Ooh, oh, it's bad. It's bad.
The more I talk
And
about
this,
this, my blood pressure is rising. I need
all
to switch
right, never
topics.
mind. We can't talk about that. But let's talk
Oh,
about. So I'm going through the photos from camp this week, and they post up on the Giants.com website. They'll post up about 150 or 200 the poor son, 100 and 250 photos. So I'm going through the photos, and I'm like looking through the photos, and I'm seeing a old white guy in the middle. I'm like, is that Tom Coughlin? Is he on the field?
you
I
can't
was
make
like,
this up.
then I was like, wait a minute. I said, maybe they're showing like archive photos from training camps back in the day. I was like, no, 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 that's Tom now. He's looking real bad. But I'm looking and I'm like, these fools are pulling out all the stops. They done called Tom Coughlin off his fishing boat somewhere in Florida and had him come up to New Jersey to come and stand in the sun and talk to the current Giants players, I guess confer with Brian Daboll or whatever the hell else they're doing.
Sad.
I don't, I really don't think that it is a situation where you know, first of all, most coaches don't want previous coaches on. I don't know what kind of relationship he has with because Dayball's like what four removed from Coughlin
Yeah,
at this point, right?
yeah.
So it's not like he replaced Coughlin, right? He was
No,
way after that. So he may or may not have a relationship with Coughlin just from whenever.
I hope Coughlin
But
doesn't have a relationship with him. He doesn't deserve one.
but I could see the Giants having, inviting him to practice, and trying to instill some sort of excitement, not just with fans watching, but mostly like the new players, the newbies, the fresh meat from the draft, and guys who trying to get their chance from ride the bench last season, and all of that.
You want to know
Invigorate
something?
them some way.
I'm getting upset again. You want to know why we have to dig for excitement?
Why
Because
is that?
Saquon is gone.
This is true.
There's nothing here. It's just a bag of chips and a Capri Sun. You don't have anything.
Oh, the Capri
There's no
Sun.
passion. There's no fervor. There's nothing.
It's worse. The Capri Sun with the missing straw.
With the missing straw, for Christ's sake. You gotta squeeze it like this and fish for the liquid. This is why we're fishing for life, because it was taken away from us when Saquon walked out.
Yeah, it's not like we can invite Saquon to visit camp.
He'll come through with the whole Eagle squad.
Yes,
Get
and the
ready.
trophy. And the trophy.
Get ready, Giants fans, for that ass kicking. Back to back. Here we go, baby. Twice in 1 month. We got you. Oh my God, we're so screwed in October. By the way, oh my God, that's gonna be the worst month of football I've ever watched.
It's not a good look. It won't be a good look for sure.
It's not looking good at all. But that's why they're fishing for excitement, because there is none. What are we looking forward to?
Mm-mm.
Our first 5 weeks is just nothing but a boxing match, and we're losing them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
like it's like they put some regular schmuck against Mike Tyson in his prime when he was the youngest heavyweight champion in the world. Like, there's just no hope. We always try to bounce back, and then the league is just like, hold all these L's though before you bounce back. It's like, we understand that you just had a bad 100 season, but we got like 12 more L's for y'all. Here you go. Just dishing them out. It's bad. It is bad. We're looking at, like I said, a 10-year drought. A 10-year extended drought of miserable football. Even if there's improvement over time in that 10 years, it's not going to amount to a championship. It's not going to amount to a dynasty unless some teams give us the lottery and decide to give us all their picks, and we just get lucky and can get all top 10 picks in the next year's draft or something like that. Whatever the next saturated draft is, whatever that may be. But the point is, Giants fans, Joe Schoen has a lot to recover from. Brian Daboll has a lot to prove this year and a lot to make up for. The Giants as a whole, that team, they need to figure out if they really want to be on this field and want to play football. I believe Brian Dawkins said this best when they had him mic'd up. He said on the sideline right before he was about to go out there and lay somebody the hell out, he said, I'm going to find out if he wants to play today. And his player said, what? He said, I'm going to find out if he wants to play today. We're going to find out if these Giants players want to play this season.
It's true.
We'll find out. We'll find out who's the dog and who's not. We're going to find out who wants to play and who doesn't want to play. And I can tell you right now, if Malik Nabers ends up falling short and the injury don't look that real, be suspicious, because it could be somebody in his ear telling him that it's time to wrap it up and probably look to go to another team.
Mm-hmm. get his mind right, get his body right, be in his best condition to move on. And that totally could happen. We've seen it happen before. It is it's his history of Giants, really. And
It's so
unfortunately,
upsetting.
a lot of the guys that did that won rings in the following season. So with other teams, of course.
Shocker.
So yeah. So let's hope that we can't see too many more players leave and win rings after their tenure, however short-lived with the Giants. We can't. We don't want to see
Xavier
that
McKinney
anymore.
can't get a ring with the Packers. I will die. He cannot get a ring with the Packers. Xavier McKinney cannot get it. That can't happen. That can't
Is he
happen.
still with them? I guess he had some. He had some.
I'm about to find
He had
out.
he had some challenges.
He did?
I think there was some off field. I thought there was some off field
Let's see what's
challenges
going
that I
on.
saw. Um, I did. I thought I saw that he had some off field challenges. Sometimes that's the one that's the boogeyman that takes you out is stuff that's going on in your personal life that takes these guys off the field and focused on things that they shouldn't be focused on. But maybe he did. Maybe he's fine. But I thought first of
I'm
all,
checking. I'm not seeing anything.
okay, it might be another former Giants player because there's always someone out there doing something they're not supposed to do to get in trouble.
It just
So
says
sorry.
Xavier McKinney plans to elevate his game even more in 2025.
All right. Well, okay, we'll see. All right, Xavier. I'm sorry. I hope he didn't jinx you. Please, please, please stay safe and don't get in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I think he's
Okay, good.
well,
All
he
right.
did blow up his hand when he was with the Giants, but maybe that was his out. I don't know. What
Yeah,
if
he
that
could
was
do that.
planned? All right, that's too much. That's too ridiculous because he sabotaged his own hand.
Yes, he had the he was that season's what was the other guy? Pierre
Um,
Paul.
Jason Pierre-Paul, yeah. But hey, he's another one that left us and got a ring
He did with the mangled fist.
with one hand.
Like it was like that. Oh God.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so at least the one positive that we have is that Russell Wilson was named starting quarterback, which means we at least know who the voice in the locker room will be. Not that it wasn't going to be Russell Wilson, but we know for a fact he will be the leader. He'll more than likely be the team captain, which is good for the team. The team needs an experienced veteran. We need somebody that can galvanize the troops because it would have been Saquon Barkley, but it's not.
Would have been,
So
yeah,
it's Russell
true.
Wilson, which is fine.
Yeah.
We'll just have to accept that. I'll take a seasoned veteran in Russell Wilson over just no one there at all. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, these injuries can get figured out. Maybe we'll have more details on some of these players. So, and hopefully the injuries just stay where they're at. We don't get an increase in injuries because I can't take this anymore. My mental can't handle seeing all these injury reports for the Giants, and we haven't even played the preseason game yet.
Yeah, I mean
So
they're playing themselves and getting injured. I mean
yeah,
that's
it's bad. It's
it's
bad.
bad.
It's
That's
really
for sure.
bad. Like
Yeah.
we need a better training team. We need them to practice on fields that aren't turf. There's a lot of things that need to happen for this to stop. So, will the Giants work on that? Probably not. We've taken 10 years to figure out that we don't have an offensive line. So we'll see.
Let me ask you a question. Unrelated to, well, sort of unrelated to football. Do you know anything about the turf that soccer players play on? Because you know that the FIFA World Cup is going to be played at the same stadium, at the MetLife Stadium where the Giants play. Do they play on artificial turf in soccer?
I'm not that well versed in the fields they play on, but I would imagine most of them play on grass, especially over in Europe.
I wonder if there's a plan to do a little something for that because that's next year, by the way, next summer. I
Aren't
wonder if
soccer
there's
fields a little bigger, professional fields?
the it is official. They are playing at the MetLife Stadium, and they're going to be doing the final World Cup game. They're going to hoist the trophy
And
at
it's the
the
biggest
end.
stadium in the country.
Yeah, so they're going to be playing there. But I was curious, since we keep talking about the turf monster, wouldn't it be awful if they decided to do the World Cup there and then like some of the best players on those two final teams are struggling on the horrible turf.
Well,
But I guess
we'll
they could
see.
roll out. Maybe they'll roll out some real grass.
Something.
I don't know.
They'll
They
do
need to do
something.
that for. If they do that, they need to do it for the Giants because the turf
They
monster
can't
is
take the
whack.
injuries. They can't. Again, most of our injuries in the last 8 to 5 years or 5 to 8 years were contactless. Just players running and stopping, and then just ligaments snapping, tendons snapping, because all that force from them stopping and trying to change direction with the same top speed. it just messes with their ligaments and joints, and they end up tearing something or dislocating something or whatever it may be. It's got to stop. Saquon
Yeah.
Barkley didn't have any injuries with the Eagles. How many injuries did he have with the Giants?
Oh yeah, he was really. It was not. It was scary how
He didn't
bad he
have
was
one
getting.
with the Eagles.
Yeah,
He didn't even miss a
true.
game.
No, he was at every game. Yeah,
Hello, New
yeah.
York Giants front office. You had to have noticed that. He didn't miss a game.
They need to make the investment, you know. Okay, so we'll add that to the last chance season. Last chance season for Daboll, for Wilson, for people like Tommy DeVito. Last chance season for the artificial turf.
He's back to Danny DeVito. He's back to Danny DeVito. I don't want to call him Tommy right now.
Last
Bum.
chance season for the artificial
He's lucky
turf.
he's even in the dang league. He's only in the league because he's from Jersey. And he's on a
Yeah.
team that's in Jersey. It's the only reason he's in the league right now.
Yes. It's not
He's
even a
not he's
Jersey
not
team, but
good. He's not good.
there's some sort of allegiance they have with him because of his close proximity to where he grew up. So
He's just not good. He's not good for the NFL. He's like a Canadian football league player. Respectfully.
it's terrible.
He's just not
It's
good. He's just not good.
Well, let's hope that we could keep Russell Wilson up on his feet. Uh, we have
Please.
we have Jameis in the sidelines waiting to go out and try not to throw pick sixes. So,
Please.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to, get some wins. And I know that, what we're going to see from Russell Wilson is someone who's determined to turn things around. He's got too many back-to-back seasons where he really didn't show his best self,
Nope.
and he knows everybody's questioning if that guy is still there. Is he
Yep.
in there? Is he inside that body and that brain? And I know that this is, and he's in New York. And let me tell you something. I follow him and Sierra on IG. They are living their best lives living in the tri-state. Oh
I
my
bet they
God,
are. I bet
they
they
are
are.
going to all the events. He was almost at like every Knicks playoff game. He was although he had like in end zone area seats that wasn't good. But anyway,
Oh.
yeah, is that called end zone in basketball behind the basket? What is that called? Behind the
Uh
basket. What is that called?
I believe that's
Whatever
what do
that
they call
is.
it? Backboard seats or whatever.
Whatever those are. That's where they put Russell. I
They
guess
put
because
him
it was
right behind
last.
the backboard.
Yeah, that's where his seats were. And then he won a couple games like that, and then a couple times the Sierra was there with him.
You
But
can call
like
those
they're
baseline tickets.
yeah, whatever those were, that's the seats that they got. So they didn't get the best seats, but they were there. And I'm sure they had never been to a Knicks game before the playoffs this year. They went to the Met Gala. I'd never seen them at the Met Gala. I mean, they again are living their best lives living in the tri-state, living in New York City or near New York City. So,
I believe
good for
it.
them. But I hope that he got it all out of his system and that he's focused and that he doesn't have anything on his calendar but games for the season. No more
Right.
galas, concerts, no red carpets, unnecessary red carpets. Let's hope that he got all of that out of his seat, all of his all out of his what is the word I'm looking for? What did I say?
System.
All of out of his system. And he's focused on the season. Let's hope that because
Fingers crossed.
I wouldn't want to have a different version of the boat trip with him and Sierra mid-season because they decided to enjoy their best lives in New York. So,
You don't do
but
that. You don't do that during the football season.
yeah, I've never seen it. But again, he's in the tempting New York City area now, and it's something he's never done. He's
Ain't
never
nothing tempting about being
worked
on a
here.
losing team. I can promise you that.
Yeah, this is true.
If
He
if
really
we're
needs to
losing,
be.
there's not much that he's. If you're in the New York media and you're the quarterback, you don't have room to be messing around. You don't.
He needs to earn his 10 million because that's the amount of money
Now
they
forget
gave him for the
about
one
earning the
season.
10 million. He just needs to be there, show up and play. No one cares how much he makes. Nobody cares about anything other than if he wins or loses. He ain't gonna
No,
be on vacation because I've never seen any quarterback that played for the New York Giants ever doing anything vacation wise outside of Daniel Jones. And we don't need to talk about him.
let's talk about him. Yeah. All right.
So
Well, we had an interesting week at camp. Nothing truly exciting. Maybe some things that for cause for concern,
come
and we need to just keep an eye on those things. And
on.
we hope that
No
everybody
injuries.
will subscribe to our channel. We are again trying to get to the road to 1,000. We hit a milestone already. We need another milestone. We need 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend. Tell all your Giants fan friends.
Everyone,
Tell everyone that just subscribe, hook it up,
please.
please, and comment. Comment in one of our most recent shows. Let us know that you subscribed, and we'll give you a shout out in the next show. Really, really would love for you to do that. The son and I are, we're just trying to. We have a fledgling little channel here, but we do it for the love and hate of the New York Giants. Love. Notice it said love and hate. It's a love to hate team. It's just that type of
Yep.
situation. So,
Not always love here. Not always.
no, not always. So, uh, stay tuned. Check us out. Again, of course, make sure you're locked in with us. We will probably. I don't know that we plan to do all of the preseason games. We might do a couple, but we will do some. So just keep that in mind. But of course, we'll always be the mother and son post game shows. So the post game for the in season, we will be doing those as we've done for the last 5 years. It's been 5 years, right, folks, that we've been doing this little show.
Wow.
So or close to it. I think this is our 5th season. I feel
It's fifth. That's correct.
either way it feels like it.
It's definitely the fifth season.
Yeah, and so we look forward to you joining us and continuing to be part of our family, and subscribe, like, share, comment, and we'll see you next time to chat New York Giants preseason and then in season. So take care, everybody. See you then.
Take care. And Malik Nabers we trust.
All right, we're off.
Perfect.
All right, 36:20.